Hey Bryan High School, if you don't already know me, my name is Sam, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to apply your 2018 fall show makeup. So let's get started. Before we begin, I just want to let you know the steps that I have taken prior to starting this video. So I've already applied my foundation, I've put on a little bit of concealer where I need it, and I've also filled in my brows. One thing about my brows is I've made them a lot darker because this is going to be a little bit of a dramatic makeup look and you want a lot of your features to stand out. So really fill in your eyebrows dark only on the outer parts. It doesn't need to be so dark on the inner part or else you're going to look like you have really blocky brows. So just make sure like the outer half and tail end is really dark and really full. The first product we're going to be using is the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Milk. And we're going to take this and we're going to apply this underneath the eyes and on the inner half of the lid. So I'm just going to take this and start on the outer corner of my eye. You want it to be thinner on the inner part and get bigger as you get to the outer corner of the eye. So I'm making a baseline here, and then I'm going to, basically from the middle point of my eye, I'm going to drag it out a little bit lower. And this is really easy to work with. If you mess up, it's not hard to adjust it and to remove it and put it where you need it to be. But you do want to make sure you put a really thick layer on there because we want this to be a really flat color and not be opaque at all. As you can tell, my application's a little bit messy, but that's okay because we can work with it. And if you ever bring it down too low, you can just push the color up and it's literally just going to wipe off with your finger. This doesn't stay too well without a base on top, so in a second we're going to put some white eyeshadow on top of this. And you also want to make sure you bring it onto the inner corner because we're going to connect this onto the top of the lid as well. Now we're just going to be filling this in on the top half of our lid. I have eyelash extensions, so I'm sorry if they get in the way a little bit. But we don't want to take this white higher than the crease. It's not precise enough for what we need, but we can adjust this a little bit with our fingers. So there's the rough application on one eye. So as you can see how I have this connect around, it also comes in to this inner corner. And it comes in pretty far. We're going to end up blending it out later on, but you just want to make sure you get a good amount on your lid, and then we can go back and take off some or put some more on later on. So next, I'm going to be dipping into our eyeshadow palette, and I'm going to be taking just the matte white in this outer corner here. And the brush that I'm using is just a flat concealer brush. I just find that this works well because of the base being so thick, and then we're just trying to pack on this white shadow. So what I've learned about using these shadows is that you have to loosen them up, so you kind of have to be really rough with them and get that eyeshadow nice and powdery, and then it sticks to your brush and the base a little bit better. So I'm just going to pat this over top of everything that we've applied so far, and this will also even out the color as well. I'm just taking my finger here and I'm kind of just trying to blend out this outer corner so it doesn't look so harsh. But again, we're going to be putting on some pink eyeshadow around here later and some black eyeliner, so it's going to kind of cover up the messiness of it. Next, we're going to be using our eyeshadow palette, and I'm also going to be using this brush. It's actually just like a very small blush brush, an angled brush. And I'm going to be doing a little bit of contour with it. You can use like any sort of brush that would be good for like contouring or blush and things like that. So it's going to be this palette. Sorry, these two are missing. Just ignore that. But it's the one with the blacks in the corner. And we're going to be using this hot pink shade right here in the palette, so just reference that compared to yours. So this is what shade we're going to be starting out with. You want to make sure you have a really good amount on this brush. You want to start up near where your cheekbone touches your hairline, just a little bit below that. Also with this stuff, it's better to go too high than too low. So I'm starting here, just kind of in this area. Find that same place on you, and we're going to be blending in circles. And then you can start bringing it up a little bit closer to the hairline. You want to make sure that you don't have any gaps when it comes to where your makeup starts and ends with your hairline. You just want to blend it into your hairline. And make sure you're always going in circle motions because this shadow has a tendency to be really choppy sometimes if you don't blend it correctly. So as long as you go in circle motions, then you'll always have a really nice blend. So now I'm going to be bringing this down. And if you have trouble finding your cheekbone, just make the fishy face. And you can follow it. I don't really like to go so low. I feel like the middle of, like, you know, where my cheeks come in when I make the fish face is about right here. So I like to go a little bit higher than that. The next shade that I'm going to be using to deepen this out is going to be this bright purple shade right here. You want to start this out where we started the pink shadow, over here up near the hairline. And you can blend it out from there. This is just going to deepen out the color a little bit more. And you need to start getting a little bit bigger with the area that you're covering, just to make it look like a little bit more of a blend. Next, we're going to take that same hot pink shade that we started out with, and you're just going to put this on your forehead near your hairline. So this is where my temple is, so we're just going to fill in this space right along here and kind of have it bridge together a little bit. You'll see how this turns out. But I like to start here because this is where we want the majority of the color to be focused, and you can bring it down the hairline right there. We're going to bridge the colors across just a little bit. We don't want to bring it down too low or else it's just going to look like a crazy sunburn. But you want to make sure that you deepen out this color enough to make it look intentional, and not that you guys did, you know, a UIL show at 12 o'clock and got sunburned. We're going to be working on the eyeshadow portion. So I'm going to take that hot pink shade. So basically we're only really going to use those two shades out of the eyeshadow palette plus the white. So now I'm just going to be taking this on this fluffy blending brush. This is just a basic eyeshadow blending brush here. And we're going to be taking this on the outer corner of the eye. So I like to place it right on the outer corner and move in circle motions to blend it out. Once again, if you're just packing on this eyeshadow without blending it, it's going to look really choppy or really cakey, and it's not going to have that nice flow throughout the makeup look. You might need to do a few layers of this to get it right. So once you have a good amount blended in that outer corner, a nice base color, you want to bring it in across that crease, and you want to just go across in motions like that, and then just go and blend it in circle motions. But you want to make sure you don't bring it down too low because we still want that white shade. But just go through, blend that out. Next, we're going to be taking that same eyeshadow blending brush and we're going to dip into that bright purple shade, and we're just going to be taking this on the outer corner to deepen it out. Once again, place it on that outer corner and move it in small circle motions, and then I'm just going to take the excess and pull it in on that crease. And then next from here, you probably shouldn't have any of that purple shadow left over on the brush. We're going to go back in to the hot pink shade and just have a very light amount on your brush. You're going to take it down and underneath the white shadow. You want to make sure that you don't blend it into the white shadow, because we're going to be putting a fake lower lash line there. And on this outer corner, just do small flicking motions to blend these together. You kind of want to make like a cat eye look with this, so it should almost fade out to a little point here. Also, with this shadow, I really only brought it into about here. I didn't bring it in any farther than that. One thing I'm noticing, it's really choppy over here with my white shadow. I'm not sure if you guys can totally see that. So I'm just going to take the brush I applied the white shadow with to try and help blend that a little bit better. So you can always go back and adjust if things aren't going the way you'd like them to. One thing I forgot to mention before we started the shadow, so technically my base for the inner part was the white NYX pencil, and so that kind of set a base for me to put the white shadow on top of it. And then my base for the outer corner was technically my foundation. So whenever I applied my foundation all over my face, I made sure that I had some on my lid and just kind of patted it out on there so I'd have something for the eyeshadow to stick to. Sometimes if you apply it to just your skin, if you have oily eyelids or dry eyelids, it's going to come out patchy or it's just going to melt off. So make sure that you have some foundation that could work well as a base, or concealer on your eyelids that could work well as a base for the eyeshadow to stick to. The next step, we're going to be using our black eyeliner. For this, it's going to take a lot of practice. If you're not that comfortable using eyeliner, I definitely suggest a black felt tip liner. It's just a lot easier because it works like a pen and you can have a nice smooth stroke. So to start out, I'm going to be making the fake lower lash line. So you want to make sure you have a really precise tip. and that it's not gonna go all crazy. Have a really light hand. You can even dot your line and then trace along it to start out. So I'm gonna start from about right here on my eye. I'm not gonna bring it in any more than that. And basically where the white meets the pink, that's where we're gonna draw our line. And I like to bring this a little bit farther out than actually the corner of my eye. And this kind of elongates the eye as well. So you can see that my baseline is not smooth or anything at all. We're gonna just keep going over it with that black liner and really thicken out that line and make it look nice and smooth. So there's our first fake lower lash line. You're gonna have to work with it to make it even on both sides. Another tip also, if you are like me, I naturally have a crease under my eye. If you have a smooth under eye, great for you, but I naturally just have like a crease or a wrinkle there, so you want to make sure that you put it lower than that if you have one of those, or else it's just gonna become a complete mess. All right, now that we have the fake lower lash line, you're just gonna make a thin line on the top of the lash line. This is just gonna help hide the band of our false lashes that we're gonna be applying later on. So you're gonna put away your black liner for just a moment and we're gonna come back to it. Next step, we're gonna be putting glitter on our cheekbones. So this is where we're gonna be using our jumbo glitter. This is so messy, so don't do this anywhere important. I'm just gonna be applying this on the back of my hand. I'm just gonna tap a little bit on with my finger, and you just wanna push it along your cheekbone. So I start about right here and I'm just working it up in this space where it's not pink. And then I'm going to take another finger. You can wet it with some water or facial spray or whatever, or you can just lick your finger. Honestly, I think that's more practical, maybe less hygienic. And you just keep dipping it in the glitter and it'll keep sticking to your finger and it's gonna stick to the glue. And there you go, that's one side done. Now we're done with the glitter and we can move on to our lashes. So I'm gonna be using some magnetic lashes just because I have my eyelash extensions on, but I'm gonna walk you through how to apply your false lashes. So you wanna make sure that you start out by checking out the sizing. So here I have my lash, as you can see. And this one is already cut to the size that it needs to be for my eye. All right, if you can see this lash, you can tell this is the inner corner and this is the outer corner. You always want to make sure you're cutting from the outer corner, but you want to make sure you're coming from the top end to cut it and out. So how you can measure it to make sure it fits on your eye is don't put any glue on it, set it on the lid, see if there's any hanging off the inner or outer corner. And if there isn't, fine, you don't have to cut it. If there's some hanging off the outer corner or the inner corner, you need to adjust it, and then whatever's hanging off the outer corner is how much you need cut out. But you need to cut from the back, from the band side, so you can make sure you're not chopping off any extra lashes or changing the shape of the lash. And then from there, you're gonna take your lash glue, you're gonna apply it to the band, wait about 30-45 seconds, wait for it to get tacky. And from there, you're gonna hold it from the lash side, and then you're gonna go from a high 45-degree angle, place it on the lid, let it sit there, and then you can press it in with your fingers and attach it to your lash line. Alrighty, now I have my fake lashes on, and we're gonna be going back to the black liner. So you need to make sure you're really precise with this. Probably wanna do about 6 to 8 little freckles, and they don't have to be perfect circles because I can't make a perfect circle. Awesome, now you have freckles. So we're gonna be moving on to the lipstick. You're gonna pick up that NYX Jumbo Pencil once again. You're gonna apply this to the center of your lips on top and bottom. It doesn't have to be precise because we're gonna be blending this out. So you wanna get a good amount on the center of your lips only. And then we're gonna be taking our NYX High Voltage and you're gonna just place this on the outer corners of your lips and then just start rubbing your lips together to mix it. And I like to take my finger to help blend this in a little bit better. We don't want it to be pure white on the middle. We just want it to be a mix of the two colors. And then I also take my finger to do the bow of my lips and to fill that in. You might need to take a lip brush, and then I'm gonna go in and apply another layer on the outer part of my lips once again. And I'm just gonna take a new finger to blend that in. Because we do want the outer color to be a lot darker. So now you have more of an ombre effect to your lip. Alright, next is the last and final step of this makeup look. We're going to be going back to our black liner. And you want to make sure you have a nice pointed tip, especially when you're doing this. And we're going to make 2 lines, kind of like a doll when they have the detachable jaw. We want to make the lines come in a little bit angled to kind of give the appearance of like a little bit of a smaller chin. And you want to make these lines really thin and really dainty. So there we have our 2 little chin lines. So I'm not sure if the camera totally cut off, but we're going to be taking our eyeshadow brush and we're going to be dipping it into that hot pink shade. And you want to just add some shading to the inside of these 2 lines for the jaw. And you also want to be careful that the black liner is dry. And for some, what might work better is a precise pencil brush. And next we're going to take the purple shade, the only 2 eyeshadow shades we've really been using. And you're going to apply that just a little bit closer to the black line. So there we have it. Here's the completed show makeup. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Please let me know if you have any questions. As always, you can comment it down below on this video, or you can send me an email. I will have my email in the description box. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing start to your season.